Oprah Winfrey's public image has already cracked. Those cozy ties to Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein's circle, and John of God, the Brazilian faith healer she promoted, right up until he was convicted of running a global baby trafficking empire. But according to sources embedded in the federal investigation, the cracks are about to become a total collapse. Oprah isn't the only member of the VIP global elite facing ruin. A whole host of household names, including Bill Gates, mainstream media figures, and members of the US House and Senate, are sweating as the walls close in on them. Today's video is brought to you by VP.net, the only VPN I trust to protect my privacy from the deep state. VP.net is built to block deep state actors from spying on you. Their military-grade hardware is impenetrable. Using their service also helps to keep my show on the air. Please visit vp.net/TPV to find out more. Mainstream media's official story. Oprah's 3 decades orbit of paedophiles, rapists, and baby traffickers? Just rotten luck. A string of unfortunate coincidences. Same way, members of the Clinton inner circle keep dropping dead from suicides with 2 bullets to the back of the head, barbell accidents, and plane crashes that only kill the passenger they needed quiet. Coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. For 30 damn years. They think you're that stupid. But they're wrong. And one by one, people are waking up to the truth.
We need to have a chat about Oprah. I've been talking about Oprah, like privately, in my private life, with Maureen Callahan, who's got lots of thoughts. I really think Maureen needs to write her next book on Oprah. I'm gonna try to make it happen. And a good friend of mine, she's a writer too, and she's a reporter. She's got a lot of thoughts on Oprah, and she's a little younger than I am, but she was sort of raised on the Oprah diet the way we all were of a certain age. And it turns out we were raised by a sociopath.
According to investigators, Oprah Winfrey has been hiding in plain sight for decades, conspiring with some of the world's most notorious paedophiles and child traffickers, and taking every opportunity to legitimize child abuse in public forums.
People don't understand. A big part of the confusion and shame for child victims is that the attention and the seduction from the predator, who is probably going to be somebody you know.
Right.
In order for it to work, it has to be somebody you know, somebody you admire, somebody you respect, or maybe even love. And it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your it feels good. I have said for years, if the abuser is any good, you won't even know it's happened.
FBI sources now say what many have whispered for years. America's first black billionaire wasn't just Epstein's friend, she was his partner. Investigators allege that Oprah helped traffic children straight to the global elite, flying under the radar of a philanthropy empire. And the drop point? Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. That isolated desert compound where he bragged about building an underground baby factory, impregnating girls, harvesting offspring, and seeding his evil bloodline. Flight logs, witness statements, and sealed grand jury testimony reportedly put Oprah on the ground there multiple times. This isn't a coincidence anymore. This is conspiracy, racketeering, crimes against children on an industrial scale. Epstein survivor Juliette Bryant, who was trafficked, drugged, and held at his properties, drops this bombshell. Epstein didn't just know Oprah, he bragged to her that he owned a controlling stake in the Oprah Winfrey Network. That's right. While the world saw her as the queen of empowerment, Epstein allegedly held the purse strings behind OWN, turning her inspirational empire into just another asset in his blackmail machine.
You know, if someone suddenly has a heart attack, they need another heart, then they've got a clone of themselves where they can, people must just watch the movie The Island. It explains it all. But then also another branch of that could be taking eggs from women, because if these bastards really do drink adrenochrome and kill children, it would make sense for them to have their own farm of children, and then it would make sense for them to take eggs. Again, it's just something I've considered.
And absolutely, and there's evidence of that on the top level of Oprah being involved with John of God. That was a farm for women having children.
I was told that Epstein owned Oprah's network. I was told that he owned L'Oreal and he owned Oprah's network, which was called King Network. Someone told me that along the way when I was there.
Here's where it gets dark. Deep beneath Epstein's Zorro Ranch in the New Mexico desert, federal teams allegedly uncovered a hidden nightmare. Hundreds of tiny corpses, infants and fetuses, buried in a sprawling underground complex. Investigators say they lay out Squim's ritual, altars, strange symbols, chambers that match survivor accounts of satanic ceremonies. This wasn't just trafficking, it was an international child harvesting operation run by a protected cult inside the elite. Babies bred, used and discarded like trash. And the flight logs, DNA evidence and witness statements all point straight back to the same VIP guests who partied above ground.
Dulce, New Mexico is 170 kilometers from the Four Corners, an area known for the Skinwalkers, who the Hopi tribe describe as a non-human species that live underground. Dulce is 260 kilometers from Scientology's heavily guarded underground Trementina base. And Dulce is 200 kilometers from Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch, which is known to have an 8,000 square foot underground level and is rumored to lead even deeper underground. According to several prominent scientists who Jeffrey Epstein had as guests, Epstein hoped to seed the human race after a cataclysm by impregnating 20 women at a time at the Zorro Ranch. Phil Schneider also built submarine bases and said that most were connected to the vast network of deep underground bases. Ghislaine Maxwell had a submarine license and was known to transport people to Epstein Island through an underwater submarine port. The U.S. military built a submarine base on St. Thomas Island, which is just 13 kilometers from Epstein Island. And right next to this submarine base is Water Island, owned by Joe Biden's brother and their business associate.
We're about to go deeper than we've ever gone. What exactly was Oprah's job title when she walked the tunnels under Zorro Ranch? Was she Epstein's recruiter? His high priestess in the dark? And those hundreds of tiny bodies they're pulling out of the desert floor right now? What the hell were they really doing to those kids before they were discarded? But first, an important message from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is PillsForever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. The price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with PillsForever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. Speaking of fenbendazole, not only does it get rid of parasites that live inside your body, there have been studies that show fenbendazole can help with cancer. Listen to this bombshell interview with Mel Gibson, who says 3 of his friends who had terminal cancer were cured by the very same ivermectin and fenbendazole available at pillsforever.com.
I have 3 friends. All 3 of them had stage 4 cancer. All 3 of them don't have cancer right now at all. And they had some serious stuff going on.
And what did they take?
Jesus. They took some, what you've heard they've taken.
Ivermectin.
Fenbendazole.
Fenbendazole, yeah. I'm hearing that a lot.
They drank hydrochloride something or other.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkout. Please click the link below this video to take advantage of this fantastic offer. Believe it or not, this isn't Oprah's first rodeo. Years before Epstein's underground tunnels, there was John of God, the Brazilian miracle healer she flew halfway around the world to promote on her show, called him inspiring, and sent her viewers flocking to his compound. What did John of God have hidden on that property? An underground sex slave dungeon. Hundreds of young girls, some as young as 10, lured in, raped, impregnated, and forced to give birth. The babies were sold around the world to elite VIPs. And when the girls outlived their usefulness, they vanished. Over 800 women came forward. He's now serving 370 years for rape, trafficking, and murder.
John of God as a miraculous faith healer, one who could cure cancer, giving him international recognition. Jao Tashira is now serving 19 years in prison for the rape of 4 women. He is facing additional cases related to several sex crimes, including keeping teenage women as sex slaves in underground mines, forcing them to have his children, and selling their babies internationally for tens of thousands of dollars before murdering the women after about 10 years of childbirth. Oprah runs her own leadership academy for girls in Africa, a $40 million school for disadvantaged girls, where in 2007, several children were sexually abused and parents were only allowed to see their children once a month.
And I have said for years, if the abuser is any good, you won't even know it's happened.
Oprah ran a school for orphans in South Africa years ago. Can you guess what happened there? That's right. Hundreds of children went missing, never to be found. As the former leader of the Satanic Church in South Africa explains, they were used in sacrifices.
Oprah Winfrey had a school here in South Africa, Oprah Winfrey School for Orphans, quite a while ago, just years ago. He was very much involved with that as well. And the children disappeared from there. He was very much involved with
Was
that.
this a scandal? Like, was this a known
this
thing?
Yeah. Go and Google it.
So if I Google missing kids from Oprah's preschool, it will come up.
In South Africa, it will come up.
So what happened to those kids?
You guess.
They were used in sacrifices? Really? Okay, I don't know if any of this is true. I don't know anything about this. But if that is true, that's shocking.
The academy wasn't just a school, it was a harvesting ground. One of many around the world. And now investigators with access to the sealed files are calling her the broker. Listen close. Everything we're dropping here is the kind of material that gets hard drives wiped, servers torched, and people suicided before breakfast. If you're doing your own research and digging into the dangerous topics online, you need to be protected. Legacy VPNs? Forget it. Proton? It's literally funded by the WEF and the EU. Let that sink in. Express, Nord, Surfshark, they all keep logs. They all cave to warrants. They're all headquartered in 5/9/14 eyes countries that will hand over your IP faster than you can blink. You need something that can't betray you. That's VP.net, the world's first trustless VPN. No central servers they can raid. No logs they can seize because there's nothing to seize. It runs on blockchain nodes spread across thousands of independent operators. Even if the entire US government demands your data, there's nobody to hand it over to. It's mathematically impossible to de-anonymize you. Do it before you dig any deeper. vp.net/TPV. It's just $5 a month. That's all it takes to keep your searches, your passwords, your fingerprints, your downloads, and your late night rabbit holes completely off the grid. No logs, no backdoors, no subpoenas that ever get answered. vp.net/TPV. One click and you're gone. Smart people are already there. See you on the other side. Oprah didn't just traffic kids. She ran the premium supply chain. Human eggs harvested from abducted teens. Blood drained in ritual quantities. Whole bodies, some still breathing, delivered fresh to private jets. The marketplaces? Underground medical theatres, hidden beneath estates, owned by her inner circle. Zorro Ranch, certain Caribbean islands, a compound outside Cape Town. And at least 2 locations in Europe that still don't appear on any map. Buyers aren't just rich, they're the untouchables. Household name billionaires, royal bloodlines, Rothschilds, heads of state, Oscar winners who lecture you about morality, who pay 7 figures a pop. What they're buying isn't vanity treatments, they are the occult elite and they want to be gods. Several ancient powerful cults believe that engaging in occult magic tantric sex rituals can extend their lives by several decades. This is all explained in a rare book called Cult and Occult. The book explains how rulers down the centuries believed that sexual contacts with minors would re-energize their bodies and extend their lives. This book is actually part of the Stanley Kubrick archives, because Kubrick used it as a primary source for his final movie Eyes Wide Shut, which of course centered around a shadowy elitist cabal based out of New York City, which had engaged in, let's just say, Epstein-like shenanigans.
A man named Stanley Kubrick who produced and directed his last movie called Eyes Wide Shut. The movie Eyes Wide Shut, I think, from what indications I've received out of Hollywood, he died because of that film. I think he was assassinated because of that film, and I think he knew that his days were cut short. You need to get the movie, rent it and watch it, Eyes Wide Shut by Stanley Kubrick. Because in the movie he shows how very sophisticated, wealthy, intelligent elites actually live, what their secret societies, blood sacrifices, murder, rape, pornography, killing, But on the surface, they are very important-looking people. They have nice suits, and they look good on television. And behind the scenes, they're murderous. And that's what the movie was called, Eyes Wide Shut, because that's exactly what America is doing. It's looking at these politicians and religious leaders with their eyes wide shut.
None of this is a joke. None of this is exaggerated. We have the receipts. You just have to know where to look and how to read between the lines. Paedophile Peter Nygard, a close friend of Jeffrey Epstein and Oprah Winfrey, was secretly recorded offering black women money for their eggs, placenta, and the umbilical cord, blood rich with stem cells, claiming that these things bring life for other people.
For $100, we will pay you for your egg.
No, you $100? Monkey.
You can get paid a lot more than that. So how much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500 for the unprepared dog bid him in. Whoever I bid, he's going to outbid me. I bought about $60,000 worth of eggs. Yeah. If you have abortion, that's very valuable. Umbilical cord, and a placenta, even your period blood is so rich with stem cells. Mm-hmm. We regard it as waste, and it actually should be. It should be captured as recycled, and it shouldn't go to waste. It's life for somebody, and it's life for mankind. Where the best eggs are 60 to 18 years old. Those are the best eggs. As you get older, your eggs get weaker and weaker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So you may not be our candidate.
No, that's fine. I'm down with my business anyway.
Cloning yourself with the idea of making yourself immortal, I think, is science fiction, and I think it's unethical.
They've already tested this practice in mice, and mouse was fat, and mouse got six-pack, and it was jumping all the women, young, right? At first it's just everybody's safe, and after that...
It's one sick, untouchable club that's been feasting on the world's innocence for decades. And here's the part they never thought they'd hear. Thank God. Thank every God they don't believe in. That your name isn't on the membership list. You're not in it, but now you know it exists. And knowing changes everything. This episode ends here. Their story? It ends the moment those indictments unseal. Until then, stay human, stay awake, and never ever look away.